Hello, everybody. We are here with Tambry Harris, and we have such a unique and interesting opportunity today to have some fun digging into her business and looking at ways that we might be able to help it grow right here and right now. So, would you like to tell everybody what it is that you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I'm a leadership and life coach by kind of trade practice. I've been doing that for 25 years or so, but it's been over the past 4 years that my heart was really pulled to support survivors of abuse and trauma. And so I established an organization called Going Forward Survivors to Thrivers. And my intent with that is to raise awareness around the issue, support survivors by providing a blog, and I do daily social media posts. But from a money making perspective, what I'd like to do is really be able to coach people. Have a process that I use and really help them get. A lot of times, survivors get stuck and in these limiting beliefs, and so helping them get. Um, Raise awareness around that stuckness, really look at, what would alignment look like to try and get them to their thriving place, their fully lived life, and then really kind of take the steps, the actions to begin to embrace that and work through that. And I do approach it from a mind, body, spirit perspective.
Mhm.
And so I do that. That's probably the biggest piece for me is really trying to grow my business and have more people work with me in doing that healing work. I do offer retreats, not having much interest in that either. So I feel like I have established a good base and people can see who I am and what I'm about, but I'm just not having the pull through. I'm not having people, make time. And I have a couple of different offerings on the website, and I know you're going to take us through that, but different ways to engage me. And I am having people engage and be a part of my newsletter, and I use the newsletter to promote things, but it's just, like I said, I'm just not getting the pull through. And so I'm kind of at a place where I just look forward to any kind of insight and wisdom you have to bring.
Okay, I hope I can do something to help because it's an incredible mission, and absolutely love what you're doing. So let's see. How many people do you have subscribed to your newsletter list now?
I have about 100.
Okay, excellent start.
Mhm,
And on the website is where you're getting people signing up for that.
mhm.
When you post on social media, do you encourage people to come back to your website?
I do. I do a blog twice a month. And so the 1st and the 15th, I kind of start promoting the blog posts and have the link in my bio. So try and get people to that link. And then I take them through some of my exercises on my daily posts so they get a feel for the content as well through that. And then when I do my offerings, I will also again put that on my Instagram and my Facebook.
Okay. So your blog posts, do they have a like, here's how to take the next step to get in touch with me and start your healing journey coaching?
That's a great question. I I asked them to engage around the post. I guess my assumption was they're already on my website, and so I don't need to do that. But well, and actually, as I say that at the very bottom of it, I have a talk to Tambry offer, where
Okay.
they can kind of have 30 minutes to talk to Tambry. So I do that, but that may be something that I could promote a little better.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases, people's call to action is not super clear because, like you said, we assume that people can figure it out, right? Like,
Right.
of course, you're here, but um, I don't want to say that gives people too much credit, but it does seem to be a pattern that it really
Okay.
helps a lot to connect those dots for people and to just be extremely clear. Like, okay,
Okay.
here's where you go next.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm right.
So
I'm
let's
taking notes while we
see. Yeah,
talk.
whether I can share and get to your website. Let's see. I can share a screen here. I've never tried this before. Sharing screen is easiest with two monitors. Oh, I have a second monitor. Let me plug that in. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna share screen 2 here, and oh, look at that! Ha! Okay.
You're learning stuff too. I love it.
Cool. All right, learning something new today. So let's see if we can get a new page open here and get your website pulled up. And I was on it earlier today, so I can't remember what it is. Remind me.
It's survivors to thrivers.com.
Why is it? There it is. Okay. And this is just go to the home. Okay.
And that's the Talk to Tambry I was telling you about. That's at the end of the blog as well.
Very nice. All right. I think you mentioned having a system that you take people through, and that is super appealing.
Okay.
For myself, and I know for a lot of people, just that word, like anything like a blueprint or a kit or a system, it's like, oh, I feel really like taken care of. I know that this is, I just to do the steps and I'm gonna be taken care of. So I would push more on that and kind of promote and advertise that you have a system, it has a slick little name, and this call to action can be like, take that first step in the system or learn more about the system. Give them a bigger reason to click on it. Because one would think that moving forward from abuse would be a good enough reason, but I think that it's something that it's easy for people to put off.
Yes.
And so a call to action that really grabs them and is like showcasing how you could be feeling better really soon. You could be, here's all of the things that what it looks like to be thriving that you don't have now that you could have. Things like that to really get them motivated to take action on it right now.
Okay.
So let's take a look at these blogs. That's weird. That button didn't work. Okay.
I'll go check that out.
This is like, you always find something. This is part of like holy funnels. It's like you test them over and over again, and then somehow something breaks and you don't know why, and some button doesn't connect. I'm not available right now, guys. Okay, I know, Priya, but I told you that I'm in a meeting. You're gonna have to wait, sweetheart. Nice, good stuff. And do you use some of this content from the blog to put out on social media too?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
That's how I feed those posts. Yeah.
Yes.
And I have once a quarter. So this is Shakira. Once a quarter I have, and there's the Talk to Tambry I was telling you about. I have a guest thriver. Right. And so it's not just me all the time.
Okay. And here's the join the newsletter. I think, again, with the newsletter, it would help to have more details about what they're getting there. Like news and events is great, but like, what are some really specific things that the newsletter is going to do for them? Like in your inbox, you're going to have actionable tips you can take that day that come right to you and things like that to really showcase how valuable that is. You might consider putting it as an exit pop-up. I
Oh,
know
okay.
that
Okay.
pop-ups are kind of, those of us who were on the internet in the 90s are like, oh God, no, not pop-ups. Really have come a long way, and they work. You can set it up so that it triggers if somebody moves their mouse towards the X, like they're about to leave, like, hey,
Mhm.
before you go, we have this newsletter. It's totally free, and you could get this, this, and this, just so that you're losing fewer of the people.
Right.
Because if you don't have a way to capture their information, they bounce off your site, you might never see them again.
Okay.
Whereas if you encourage them to join your newsletter, then you have the opportunity to keep chatting with them. They get the chance to get to know you and what you do better. So
Mhm.
really making the newsletter front and center is a good idea. And maybe on the homepage too, even up near the top about joining the newsletter
Mm,
and what it will
mhm.
get them. We call this area above the fold, just like in a newspaper. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
so you want to have some really good information here before people have to scroll. And
Okay.
you have the how we can help and the about us. So that is great. And it would be nice to look at analytics and see how many people are clicking on those buttons. Out of
Mhm.
the overall people that arrive on your site, are people clicking those buttons? What percentage
Mhm.
of people are clicking those buttons? Always love testimonials. Those are great for social media as well. You gotta wait, sweetie. I told them moments before I started, like,
Of
okay,
course they
listen,
did.
Mom's gonna be in a very important meeting. I'm broadcasting out to the whole internet. So can you be quiet? Can you stay quiet? Oh, of course not.
Yeah. Mine are off to college, but I still have a recording interview on my door for my husband, so he doesn't so I get it.
Let's see. So you sent me some other information about what you've been doing. You've been being a speaker. You've been
Mhm.
going out and doing interviews. When you do that, do you have like a free gift that you offer to the listeners?
Mm.
That
No,
can
I
be.
just I highlight the free support, I guess. I
Mhm.
highlight the free blogs and the daily Instagram posts and I do make sure they're aware of the book because I did write a
Mhm.
book that is an opportunity for people to start the healing work. Like you said, a lot of times you'll put it off. And so a book sometimes is an encouraging way to get people to begin doing the healing work if they're not ready to really sign up and, engage in coaching. So I more um, do that, but I am open. So if when you talk about free gifts, what kind of things come to mind for you?
Well, with what you have right now, you can start offering that newsletter because, again, getting people onto the
Okay.
newsletter gives you the chance to keep on working with them as opposed to the blog where they might read it and then be like, oh, that's nice, and disappear forever.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, a lot of times what we do with newsletters, here, let me stop this screen share. How do I do this? Here we go. So a lot of times what we do with newsletters is a lead magnet,
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
that people can be enticed to give you their email address for, something that relates to the work that you do is something that will be very enticing to somebody that is the perfect fit to work with you. So I'm sure you've seen plenty of those around the internet, a PDF checklist that you can download or a webinar that you can watch
Okay.
that you give your email address and then you get access to this resource and it puts them onto your newsletter, but it gives them that extra incentive to want to be on the newsletter.
Mhm.
And if you choose right, it can be something that's a great stepping stone towards your promotions and your paid offers. So I always encourage people to think about the lead magnet as what is the first step that somebody needs to take to be ready to say yes to those paid offers?
Okay.
Is there something that you can deliver in the form of a video, an audio, a checklist, or a workbook that would put them into a better position so that when your newsletter is like, hey, you know what, you could get on a call and start with my system that gets you from here to here in this amount of time or in this amount of whatever,
Mhm.
that they are more inclined to be ready for that because of what the transformation you've already given them through that freebie.
Okay, okay.
And I
And
did
actually, I love your word
that.
'cause transformation is what I use. I talk about
Yes.
transformational
I
coaching.
mean, it's all about that. And knowing that you're going to give them a transformation in your paid coaching, it's nice to give them a taste of a transformation early because they've had that win with you and they feel
Mhm,
that connection. Like, yes, this person is somebody who can help me get where I want to go.
mhm, mhm,
And you probably have content in your blog that could be created into a workbook or, you know, 5 tips of something you can do today to leave your trauma in the past,
mhm,
something like
mhm,
that.
mhm,
And then once you have something like that, you want to be offering it everywhere. Build up the email list is the main focus.
mhm,
So when
mhm,
you speak, you offer that. Your Instagram link in bio, you offer that. You try not to offer too many things at the same time. So I know like Linktree is really popular, and I don't know if
yeah,
you're using that,
I
but
am.
I
Mhm.
would keep that to like probably 3 things max, just to
Oh,
tell
okay,
and confuse people.
okay, okay.
Because it's
'Cause I
like,
have a lot of the podcasts that I've been on, those are on my link tree for people to go out and
okay. Now,
pod.
see, that could be a page on your website. Here's all the places I've spoken. Here's all of the interviews and all the things that you can hear. And then one link to that page that's on your link tree.
Ah, okay, that's good.
And then a pop up on that page offering your newsletter
I love it.
or a banner across the top or something like
Mhm,
that.
mhm, okay,
So that will help reduce it because it's like we were saying earlier, where people need you to connect the dots. And it's very
okay.
easy for us to get overwhelmed, get analysis paralysis. And if we
Mhm,
see 15 different choices, we're just like, never
okay,
mind. I'm not
okay,
sure.
okay, that's good. Other thoughts?
Let's see. I think that about covers it. Let me take a quick peek at your Instagram here now that I've turned off the screen sharing. Yeah, very nice. I think once you have some of those things in place on your website, you'll
Mhm,
want to increase your visibility and maybe do more types of collaborations. So going out there and getting on podcasts is fantastic. You could also connect with people who are kind of aligned with what you do
mhm,
on social media and see about doing, going live on somebody else's Instagram page.
mhm, mhm,
Look for the
mhm,
people who have those audiences that are your ideal client and see how you can work together, share, collaborate,
mhm.
promote them, and ask them to promote you.
Okay.
So, what do you think? Does that give you a good jumping off
It
point?
does, and the thing I'm thinking about, Carolyn, is I'm a fairly strong intuitive,
Mhm.
and what you're really encouraging me to do is just be more specific, to just kind of put out things that I know and try and put more words and more visual to it to help people make those connections. And so as you were describing some of the things that helped me connected my dots a little bit to think about what that could look like. So I appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, definitely tell people what you want them to do next. Don't be afraid to ask
Hmm.
for the promotion.
Hmm.
You're giving a ton of free value, so there's nothing wrong with saying, "Here are my paid offers too."
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to be super specific in what you're putting out, which I think you have
Mhm.
a very honed in ideal client, which is awesome. One thing that I often recommend to people is when you're thinking about that lead magnet, I love that term. because it really describes what it is. A lead
Mhm.
is somebody who would be a great fit to be a client for you, and they've come into your world and you're hoping to build that know, like, and trust factor, helping them to get to know you so that eventually, hopefully, they do become a client if it is the right fit.
Mhm.
And a magnet is something that's very appealing to specifically that person. And
Mhm.
what we often forget is that a magnet also repels.
Okay.
So it's really good to be just completely honest and open about exactly who you're looking for and not be afraid to turn off those people who are really never going to be the right fit for you. Because the more strongly you can turn away the wrong people, the more the right people are drawn to you because they
Hmm. Okay.
really see, like, oh, yeah, that's exactly me. That's exactly what I need.
Mhm. Mhm.
So people have a tendency to veer towards generic because it's like, oh, I want to help everybody. I want to help enough people. I don't want to turn anybody away. But the more generic we are, the less people are able to see themselves in it. And so it doesn't get as powerful results as being super specific.
Yeah, the word differentiates coming up for me as I listen to
Mm,
you, just try seeking to differentiate kind of what it is that I offer uniquely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And helping people to understand, like, the system, like the steps of the system. Like
Mhm.
that's I think in what you do, there needs to be so much trust
Yes.
and knowing that you have a system in place, that you've done it with people, you've taken people through it, that they get this result, like that alleviates so much fear.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I know when I'm looking for a life coach or a therapist or somebody to help me with those things, the biggest turnoff is not understanding exactly how they're going to work with me.
Mhm.
Very
Mhm.
vague, like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, we're going to fix it. Okay, like, how? Are you
Yeah.
sure? I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
Whereas, I had one woman come to me and say, "Oh, yes, I can absolutely help you and I guarantee it." I was like, "Excuse me, you can guarantee that you can fix this trauma?" She was like, "Oh, yes, completely." Her level of confidence was
Mm.
so powerful that it let me trust her.
Mm.
And I
Mhm.
mean, that can certainly backfire, but it was eye-opening to me that I realized she made me want to work with her because she gave me that confidence that
Mhm.
she could do it and she was the right person and she had this figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess we should say, everybody, now that you have seen this website and everything, you can check it out for yourself if that's something that you are going through, or you can share it with your audience or anybody that you know who might be struggling with overcoming some kind of trauma. It's a lot of trauma in this world. We've all been through something, even if it's not like sometimes we lessen ourselves and we say, oh, but it wasn't as bad as that, so I don't deserve help and healing. So if you know anybody or if you're someone like that, definitely head over to this website, Survivors to Thrivers, and check out all the resources that Tambry has for you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate that.
Do you have any parting thoughts that you would like to give?
Hmm. Yeah, I appreciate you offering what you just offered because what I often will say is that again, the statistics are high that of how many people have experienced it. And if it didn't happen to you, there's a loved one that could benefit. So yes, please do share our resources with anyone that you know or love. And I also hope that my being a little bit of a guinea pig has helped other viewers kind of think about stuff because think you gave some great tips around, like I said, specificity and just ways to connect people and like I said, my issue is the pull through, and so some very specific ideas around the pull through. So I appreciate your time and having me on, and I hope that others benefited from us kind of doing that exploration as well.
I hope so. like to do more things like this, and I'm going to check in with you in a couple of months and see if it's made any difference, and take it from there.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much.
All right, well, we will say goodbye then. Thank you everybody for listening or watching.